So I hope that's somewhat usable for you. Again, it's hot. It's the middle of July. So it's hot. It's the middle of July, and I can't be arsed. I have now, as the recording of this video, been on this install of Linux Mint for 736 days. It's the first chance I've had all week to be in this office because it's actually only 73 degrees in here. It has been hot as balls in the Midwest here, specifically here in Indiana, and it is so bad that I haven't even been in this office for days. I've been working entirely off my laptop, and it sucks. I work during the day in here because my work machine, because it's reasonable in the morning, but by the time you get to the afternoon, a lot of days, it's been too hot to be back here, especially with this fire-breathing dragon.
Push up,
But the important thing to note is, as of the recording of this video, I've been on the same installation of Linux Mint now for 736 days, also known as just over 2 years. It's crazy. Honestly. I honestly don't even know what to say. Like, I was partying earlier in the chat, going like, I did something. I get to push the button and get the badge for the 2-year challenge thing, and that's kind of cool to me. So, and if you don't believe me, there you go. That's 2 years. I can even zoom it in for you. There you go. I do crazy stuff in OBS now, don't I? So, I just kind of want to run through my thoughts on this last 2 years and kind of where I'm going from here. Because, to be honest, I really enjoyed where I'm at, and I will still do some other distros, maybe some other long-term reviews. It just may not be on this machine per se. Or if I do, I have a unique system for doing that. So let's get into that. You know, I embarked on this journey 2 years ago with my main machine here, who I refer to as Starbase 1. I believe it was called Enterprise when I started this. I changed my naming scheme. Desktops get Starbases, laptops get Starships. I am a Star Trek nerd. I do not apologize. So Starbase 1 and Enterprise were both enrolled in this journey. And the whole journey was that I was going to use Linux Mint. That was the big kicker. And it wasn't just that. Technically, my wife also joined me, but not officially. And she's been on the same Mint install the whole time, too. So kudos to her as well. She's done great. Maybe I'll talk about it sometime, maybe. I don't know. Tell me if you want to hear about that or not. Maybe you don't care. I learned about this Mint distro way back in 2015. This is when I first got into Linux, around 2014. I did get experience in it somewhere around Red Hat 6 or 7. Not even Red Hat Enterprise Linux, just Red Hat Linux. My brother put a live CD in my disk drive, and we played around with it for a few days, and then he took it away and never brought it back. So I didn't even know what Linux was. I just knew it was different, and then it wasn't different. I was pretty young back then, to be fair. At the time, I had been distro hopping a lot. I'd gone to Pop! OS for a while. I got intrigued with Arch. Arch spat me out like a raw piece of meat.
Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
And then from there, it was just, I need something that works. Because I need to get gaming done. I went 2 years and almost didn't game. between the lack of internet around here with the old AT&T and all the other stuff going on, I basically didn't do anything. I did a few videos for this channel because I started the channel. And one of the reasons I started this channel, one was for entertainment purposes. I'm interested in this stuff, whether the camera's rolling or not. It's more entertaining if somebody else gets some entertainment out of it than if it's just me. Because otherwise it's just me and my wife who gets annoyed at me all the time. Linux and thrust it into something a little bit more important than just browsing the internet, right? Because I've got machines like this all day long. This is one that'll be on the channel eventually. That are just basic browsing machines. They don't need to do a whole lot. And even on this machine, when I first got into Linux, I always had split PCs. I had a gaming PC on Windows. I would turn around and I would have a Linux PC to do Linuxy things. And I was starting to deal with config files, and I wasn't doing anything crazy. I just wanted to do some little things. So I kept all that over there. Even some of the gaming I would do on Linux, I'd keep over on the Linux gaming PC or the Linux PC. I then switched that to editing for this channel in the first year and a half onto a thing called the Penguin Tower, which I will eventually cover on the channel. I did use a lot of Linux before I knew the Linux cast, before I was involved in the Linux cast, before I was even in all these servers. I didn't even know what Discord was back then. At one time, Arch Linux was the way for me. I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed the customizability, the fact that I could literally just do whatever I wanted. It was great. Except I had to fix it all the time. And what my wife saw at the time was that Linux was unreliable because it was always broken. And I was constantly revolving door machines in and out of my collection. I still kind of am. But they're all minty fresh now. And so I'm not reinstalling Linux all the time. I mean, I kind of am on a few of them, but we're not going to get into the weeds. I chose Mint as the be-all, end-all. And she even, like I said, joined me on this journey, and we both decided to use Mint. Now, I didn't put her on this challenge. If I had to reinstall her system, that was fine. For me, though, one of the things that I was always terrible at was exactly that. I used to just sit there and nuke my system every 6 months. So I said, okay, let's not do that. So I didn't. And then it was a race against time. Some important things to note. I am not the best at package management. I started out my Mint journey as just going to the software store and installing stuff. I used mostly Flatpaks at that time. And so that's what I did. I installed almost everything as a Flatpak, including Chrome and Discord and everything. I even removed some built-in packages and did Flatpaks. What I found as the longer I started using the system was that I have changed the tiering at which I hold packages. And maybe that's a video on its own. At this point, my tiering kind of goes deb packages or the built-in repositories, third-party repositories, Flatpaks, app images, standalone tarballs, snaps is out back where it belongs. I just started having a lot of issues with Flatpaks that I couldn't explain. I did finally figure some of this out. You know, I set some global permissions that made sense, but still didn't totally compromise my system in terms of the sandboxing. But there's stuff like Discord wouldn't use my GPU for acceleration, and so even my fast gaming rig here was rendering Discord at frames per minute sometimes in Discord calls. That shouldn't happen. You know, I've got plenty of RAM and GPU and everything to make this work. It's because it was all rendering on the CPU, and, you know, 8 cores and 16 threads can only go so burr. Beyond that, I didn't really find too many things to complain about. Apt is pretty quick, to be honest. I knew it would be. I had some experience with it before. Duct taping Nala on top of Apt just makes it that much better. It had its own issues. I did have one instance where where because of Nala, but yeah, I learned to Apt update before I Apt installed Nala before I Nala did anything, which fixed the problem. It's kind of that Linus thing. I did get Linus at one point, not on this challenge, but previously, which is why I had moved to distros and whatnot. But overall, stability's great, and I have to give the Mint team one major credibility. I started using Mint full-time on my laptop from 20.3. And it had support in 2025 of this April of this year, which is phenomenal. That's 5 years you could install your system and do bare minimum updates to it and not care. It's great, and I love it. And I've come to love that more and more as time goes on because I don't have as much time as I used to, as the kids say, fuck around and find out.
At a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. That there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out.
I still fuck around and find out, but in my own time on non-production hardware, which is the key. Or anything to do upgrades. I mean, I do. I give myself about 1 to 2 months after they come out. Just let everything fiddle itself out. I've got machines that are test machines that I can install it right away. And if it's flawless, I might upgrade right away on things. But otherwise, I have a whole system here to upgrade things. Laptops get them first, and desktop gets it last. But we've almost never had an issue. I had one upgrade that went bad. And that was on a Surface device that I had custom compiled libcamera wrong. And it destroyed the dependency tree. So take that for what you will. And there's been other issues too that I could, get into a long rant about. But QMU, Virt Manager KVM, I have had a long-standing issue with this virtual machine manager. And I don't know why. It's native to Linux. It should just work, and it doesn't. At least not for me. There are people that swear by it, and I got to admit, it's probably something I'm doing wrong. I've installed it on other distros. I've installed it on Mint. I've tried using Wayland to see if something's weird there, but no. I don't know what's going on. It runs like horse shit on my hardware, and I can't use a virtual machine solution like that. I do actually rely on a VM. I have a Windows boot side I can boot into, but I need CAD software at home to do stuff with my 3D printer and whatnot. And Onshape will probably be that eventually. But for now, I have a virtual machine with Fusion 360 because that's what I'm familiar with because of the Autodesk line. VirtualBox. Whoever packages VirtualBox in the repos, and maybe this is a versioning issue, it's not necessarily the packaging of it, but the one in the Ubuntu repos is garbage. Like, maybe it's just so old it's garbage, but it's garbage. If you add the Oracle repository, and I know Oracle bad, I don't apologize. VirtualBox does work. Get off my case. VirtualBox from Oracle, added as a deb repository or a raw deb I've used before, works really well, and I'm okay with this. So I have had some sleep wake issues and things like that. My wife, I had to do an ACPI workaround on her front USB that kept waking the system back up. Very weird bug. Apparently this was patched in Windows. The kernel just hasn't seen that patch yet, so her board just has a defect that is patched out in software instead of firmware. I have checked, there's no BIOS updates or anything, so but this thing, I've had things wake up and do very ugly things. Drivers, even AMD drivers crash and whatnot. So I just tend not to let this thing sleep. It's been better since I got a new KVM switch and at least one new monitor, so they're both matching. But before, weird things used to happen, and I do occasionally have crash outs. I'm not going to give them crazy things. Initially, as a good reminder, I did have graphics issues. I did resolve those graphics issues. It was due to my graphics card was too new for Linux Mint, because we were on, I think 21 had just come out, thereabouts. So I had to upgrade the kernel to the Edge kernel, and I had to do a Mesa PPA, if I remember right, for my graphics card. She did not, and especially after I swapped her out from a 6500 XT to an RX 580, which I know seems weird because it's backwards, more VRAM. She didn't have any issues either, and she didn't need the Edge kernel. But with how Mint's doing stuff now, I just upgrade to the latest hardware enablement kernel when it's available and proven stable. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 6.8. I still run on some machines like this thing. But for gaming, I figured newer kernel better. Maybe it's not, maybe I'm wasting my time, but it's available, it's stable, it's offered, and I can always remove it if it's not. And the last one, because of Nate Pick, I blame you for Davinci Resolve, is Rock'em. Rock'em is a pain in my ass. It is installable, don't get me wrong. There are AMD repositories for it, and they have actually improved them since I started using it. Now you pretty much just add the Rock'em repository and install Rock'em. It's no longer dependent, from what I could tell this last time, on AMD GPU or the DKMS modules. You can just install Rock'em. It's actually great. That was not the case when I started, and you had to do a very silly workaround that was shown on the Mint forums. But Resolve does work, and I have been using it for these videos. I'll be using it on this video. Thank you very much. One last thing before I hop off here to go play some vintage games is the community is actually pretty good. Now, other than that one time their Matrix chat got absolutely obliterated by spammers and bots.
Hey, get out of here! This is our yard! You don't belong there! Don't you touch anything! I told you all this yesterday!
Yeah, I hang out from time to time. I haven't done as much in the forums for a long time, but I have done stuff in their Discord server, which I know is not necessarily an official Discord server, but it does exist, and the Mint guys are there from time to time. The Matrix server is another one that I am a part of. Like I said, it got obliterated at one time by spammers, but that was one time in 4 years. That's pretty good. I don't get on Matrix very often. I have it for like 2 or 3 servers that just exist there, and I barely check it, so it is what it is. But at the end of the day, am I going anywhere? Hell no. You guys, you can give me all the roasting you want. I probably will still do distro challenges. I have equipment here that I can just install a Linux distro on, and with it do a distro test and just use it on the side. I've got a machine over here from Mr. Nate Pick for media consumption, and that's got a DVD drive and whatnot. It can run anything. It's running LMDE right now. But I've got a machine sitting over there that is my old server, which will be an upcoming video that you'll get to see at some point, where I convert my life from Debian 12 to TrueNAS to manage stuff. And that, I think that's pretty cool. But I'm going to end it there. I've rambled plenty long enough, and I'm already going to have gamers angry at me. So if you like the video, go ahead and like the video. And if you really like the video, I don't have a way for you to support me right now. There might be a way in the future. It just is what it is. Right now, I'm just in it for the subs and likes. So if you can sub and like, there you go. If you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. And y'all take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Actually, I should say cheers.